The initial layers of a city, including its people, buildings and shops, can be seen by anyone, with each person having a similar view. But inspiration is found deeper, beyond the photo. It's found by viewing things with fresh perspective, experiencing more dimension. It's about experiences that reveal unfamiliar scents, melodies unheard, textures untouched, and locals who soon become friends. Immerse yourself in the exploration of new cultures. Discover hidden gems, a deeper world within the world, while at the same time discovering more about yourself. With overnight stays and docking at smaller, less traveled ports, Azamara Club Cruises invites you to a destination immersion experience. Step ashore as an insider and explore further.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. It is about 6:32 Central Time, and I have something for you guys. So today has been a big day. We all know it's been the inauguration. Everything went swell. It snowed a little bit, but we had a great time watching it online. But now we're here to learn about Azamara. And if you watch that opening video, you can see that this is something kind of different. This is not your normal get on a cruise ship and have fun. We're going to get on this cruise ship and we're going to be immersed in a whole bunch of different things. But first, I want to go ahead and bring in Mr. Garcia. He is our, how do I say your title correctly? Because I read the signature block and it was just so many letters and I didn't know the acronyms.
It's a long list there, but it's Strategic Business Development Manager, but you can just call me Sales Manager for short. I'm here to help support you and get the word out about Azamara. So no worries, Tisha. Titles are for important people.
Okay. Well, you are very important to us. That's why you are here on our inaugural training about different cruises. So right now, can you just give some of our people that are watching some information about who is Azamara?
Of course, I would love to. So we are a 3-ship cruise brand, and we have been in existence for 13 years now, and we were created for one purpose: to deliver destination, to connect people with people, to connect people with cultures, to connect people with themselves, and give them a taste of the local. And we believe we could do that with this really unique concept that we've pioneered called destination immersion. And that's, Tisha, what you were referring to about being an immersive experience, because we slow down the ships and we spend more time in port. So for example, on a given 10-night cruise, we may spend 8 nights in the destination. So when on another cruise, you're spending a lot of days at sea, with Azamara, you're spending a lot of time in port. So if you've ever wondered or wanted to spend more time in port and wondered why you had to leave so early, why you can't have dinner in the destination, well, this might be the perfect answer and the best solution for that next vacation. And so that's what we've been doing. We operate 3 small ships, 700 passengers, 408 crew members to serve your clients' needs while they're on board with us. We're more inclusive, and we do one thing really, really, really well, and that is spend more time in port.
Well, I definitely like the idea that the ships have less people on it, which to me basically feels like there's more space to get around and not be overly crowded. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and get this question out of the way because everybody's going to want to know, what has Azamara been doing amidst the COVID-19 epidemic? How have they been preparing for the possibility of us sailing soon?
That's fantastic. We've been anxiously awaiting the ability to be able to return to service. Currently, all 3 vessels, that's the size of my fleet, just 3 ships, are currently docked in Glasgow, Scotland, awaiting the ability to return to service. We anticipate being able to return to service from Europe starting May 1st with 2 of our ships, the Quest and the Journey, and then on May 9th with the Pursuit. These are going to operate in Europe, and so we're going to operate some 7- and 10-night European itineraries out there. But what have we been doing? Since we're currently part of the Royal Caribbean family, we have been able to capitalize on all the efforts and work of the Healthy Return to Sail panel. Not sure if I'm sure you are, but I'm not sure if your audience is aware, but the Royal Caribbean Group, which is a partner of a collection of Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Azamara, Silver Sea, and Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, which is a collection of Oceania, Norwegian, and Regent, have put together a group of industry professionals, outside of the industry, medical professionals, scientists, to come up with they've actually identified 74 health and safety protocols to bring cruising back in a safe and healthy way. They've the Healthy Return to Sail panel, Royal Caribbean Group, and Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings have submitted these 74 Healthy Return to Sail policies or procedures and protocols to the CDC, and they're awaiting the lifting of the temporary resumption of service ban. And that's going to allow for some test cruises to take place here within the next 4 to 8 weeks. Once those test cruises come back and Royal Caribbean and Norwegian can prove that these safety protocols work, then we find that the CDC should be very inclined to lift the temporary ban on cruising, and then cruising can resume. So that is what is currently going on. We've been making adjustments to the hardware to allow for what those new safety protocols are going to be, but we have yet to announce the safety protocols have come out, but we have yet to announce what the future of cruising will look like in the new post-COVID era. But stay tuned. That should be rolling out here within those next 4 to 8 weeks.
Well, I know you just made a whole lot of people happy. I know I'm happy. Our co-host is on the sidelines smiling as well, because people want to get back on some ships. Now, I have to ask, what is Oz Amazing Events? Hope I said
that. So every voyage, 7 nights or longer, which we do quite a number of 7-night or longer trips, we want to create this magical, memorable evening that our guests will never forget. And here's the thing. If we're in port late at night and we don't give you something to do in port late at night, you might not get off the ship and experience the destination. And sadly, like your own hometown at night, once the sun comes down and people are home from work, typically most people are working now in this new COVID era. Some of us are working from home, but in a normal environment, in a pre-COVID environment, after the sun went down, people would come out and they would play and the city would come to life. And that happens all around the world. So what Azamara does on one of those ports where we late night or we overnight, we actually rent out a beautiful venue in the heart of the city that we're visiting. And we disembark at every guest from the ship and we invite them to attend this private, culturally immersive event in the heart of the city. And this is going to include some form of food, drink, and then entertainment. But the only people at this event are the guests traveling on the vessel that particular week. So it's something really unique, really special. And in most cases, it's something that is a memory that our guests never forget. And this is the reason, one of the reasons why they continue to come back with us. So that is what we call our Oz Amazing Evening. Now, Tisha, I'm going to tamper some of the expectation and excitement because, as you know, we're not in a pre-COVID era. We're in a post-COVID era. And large gatherings of people are frowned upon all over the world. So as you can imagine, yes, we have 700 guests. We can't fit 700 guests in a venue and be physically distant. So the future of our Oz Amazing Evenings may be in jeopardy in how they live today, but we will resume Oz Amazing Evenings when cruising starts, but it's going to be in a physically distant way so that we can maintain the health and safety protocols. And then once things start to evolve and come back to what they used to be, we're hoping on the herd immunity, we're hoping on vaccinations rolling out, we're hoping on global distribution of the vaccines and people taking the vaccines. There is then a hope and aspiration that we could resume Oz Amazing Evenings as they once were in the destination with everyone gathering together.
Well, I totally understand going into a post-COVID world, but you know what I heard? I heard exclusivity. I heard private party. I heard y'all can't come, but I'm going to be there. And it's something different that clients can say that they did and was able to experience that they would not necessarily get on other cruise ships. To be able to spend the night or the evening in the port with private attention, dancers, music, food. That's a memory that people are going to keep forever.
That's right.
So when somebody goes ahead and uses a travel professional, I'm just going to plug that in, everybody, to book a cruise, what are some of the things that's already included inside of their booking? Like, what do they get?
So with Azamara, we include everything but 3 things. So I'm going to mention these 3 things because my inclusions are a lot greater than just than these 3 things. So these are the 3 things I don't include in my pricing. Airfare is not included in my pricing. Shore excursions are not included in my pricing. And as of today, internet is not included in my pricing. However, Tisha, we'll talk about it soon. My current promotion is including internet. So that would only leave 2 things that are not included in our rate. So that means your drinks are included. That means your tips are included. That means if we dock in the city and we're not in the center of town, we'll actually transport your customers to the center of town and back to the ship at our expense. We have self-service laundry included, specialty coffees, juices, teas, bottled water, the gratuities, that's all built in. So it's really nice to pay one price and not get a completely different bill at the end of the cruise, or having to take out your room key every time you want a coffee with your dinner, or every time you want an adult beverage, or you want that nightcap. All these things are built into your price. So it's really nice to have all that built in. But you mentioned something, Tisha, what's the, if they use a travel professional, that's the key part, because I think using someone like yourself, you're their value interpreter. You're the reason you actually take their dreams, their goals, their travel wish list in their time frame and curate that perfect vacation experience. So ideally it's with Azamara, but the best part about using somebody like you is that you could really curate the perfect vacation for them, and it may not have to be Azamara. It may be something else might be the right fit for them. And that's why I always tell my customers to use a travel professional, because it's in their best interest where they're going to have that best vacation option delivered for them.
Well, that's amazing. Now, I have one more question before I move you on to Mr. Ryan Taylor. Right. Now, I am Generation X, and Mr. Ryan Taylor, he is a millennial. We wanted you to kind of expound on why our generation should start taking a look at more of the immersion style luxury level cruises.
The reason why I think so is we have this really unique concept that we've pioneered called country intensive. And what this country intensive style of cruising is that the entire voyage is dedicated to one country. So a lot of the homework that we've done on the Generation X and the generation and the millennial, what we understand is they want to spend a lot of time in one place. That's why maybe they're going against cruising, is because cruising really doesn't give them enough time somewhere to see it, do it, experience it, get dirty, with the people, with the culture, with the food, with the drink, and that what is something that you can do with Azamara, especially with our country intensives, where essentially every night you will be spending a different night in a different city in that country. And the best part is that you're not going to have to spend another, pack and unpack and move your stuff to another hotel, or spend time driving at night so that you wake up somewhere else. No, the ship is doing all the moving for you. You've already packed and unpacked, and you get to just explore and experience and let the ship be your floating hotel. So the best way I could explain Azamara is that we are a land vacation company that uses floating hotels at sea. And I think that really kind of takes us away from a cruise, even though we are a ship and we go from place to place, but really bring in that element of what it is that we are, which is we are that land vacation company because we spend so much time in port.
Awesome. And some of the things you said is very true, and I know Ryan can agree, and I'm about to bring him on in a moment. But, our generations, both of them do like to immerse and have time to explore, and don't want to have to keep going, okay, we got to hurry up. We got to hurry up, because you miss out on so many different things by being able to do that. So what we're going to go ahead and do right now is we're going to go on, and I'm going to show you what it's like to be on an Azamara ship. And then we're going to jump into the luxury level, and I'm going to bring on my co-host, Mr. Ryan Taylor, shortly after this video.
So, Captain, tomorrow, Jamaica, how are you looking?
Tomorrow evening, looks like a little bit of rain here, Richard, but I mean, it's a tiny chance.
Looking at the heavy rain or just...
The chance is what we're looking at, and a port forecast.
We'll go for it, because we bought the fresh seafood, you know, we're ordering lots of fresh products, so...
It's all good.
All right, Captain. Thank you.
Happy, friendly, the staff know us, we know them, we know their families, we know the children.
Well, I think it's like coming back to a friend's house.
So it really is like coming home to family, and it's memorable.
I really get that personal attention, and I really consider my holiday being just that, a wonderful holiday.
So, very exciting moment. We are planning to meet the chef now. This is a day before a white night party.
Hi, my name is Azamara. I'm all the way from India. I've been with Azamara since September 2014 as the pastry sous chef, and this is the Gala Chocolate Buffet.
All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Ryan Taylor. He is also a travel professional, and he is going to talk to Mr. Lionel about our luxury aspect of the sailing. Oops, wrong way.
All right. Thank you so much, Tisha. That was amazing. I love the intro. And Lionel, thank you again so much for being on for us tonight to talk with us about Azamara. I loved the introduction, and you know what, I took some time to study the notes. I've heard so much about the Amazing evenings, the events that you have going on, and I really love the destination immersion. You know, I really love the piece where we actually get to stay in port and we get to sit and we actually get to enjoy the culture, not just off board but on board as well. But what I like to think about whenever I go on a cruise, I love cruising, I always think about the type of accommodations that I'm going to be staying in, you know, and I know that it can vary from anywhere from a inside cabin all the way up to a suite. And a lot of times, if we're going to have an amazing time, we don't want to have to necessarily worry about, you know, additional things. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about what makes Azamara Suites so amazing to choose as the accommodation of choice when you do an Azamara adventure?
So the main reason why I think one of the main reasons I enjoy traveling in a suite with our product is the size of the accommodation. Our standard verandas and our ocean views and our insides range anywhere between 160 and 170 square feet. So if you try to, and then if you look into one of our inside rooms, it's just a good comparison as your inside closet in your master bedroom, and just close the door. That's what it looks like in your room. So 170 square feet is a little cramped. It's not uncomfortable, but it's nowhere near the comfort level that you're going to find if you upgrade to one of our suites. So our entry-level suite starts around 260 square feet with an additional 60 square feet in the veranda. And then our top-end suite, our highest suite, our Club World Owners Suite, this one has over 500 square feet, an additional 400 square feet out on the veranda. And essentially, if you take a look at it, it's on the back of the ship. It almost expands half the width of the ship is the size of your accommodation. So when you're looking for comfort and travel, you know, it's there, and that comes in the suites. Another reason why you would want to upgrade to a suite is, listen, at the end of the day, regardless if you're going on a cruise vacation or you're going on a land vacation, I don't know about you guys, I'm sure you'd think this way. I'm sure many of your friends or the people watching at home, you like to upgrade your experience when you go on vacation. I don't know about you, but when I rent a car, I'm not looking to get the same car I have at home. I'm looking to upgrade the car so that I have a unique experience. When I fly, I don't want to have to fly coach. I might buy the coach ticket, but then I'm trying to figure out how do I upgrade to that economy plus or business or first class area on the plane. And the same thing is going to happen on a cruise vacation. This is going to be your home away from home for an extended period of time. In some cases, it could be 7 nights, and one of our voyages, they can get pretty lengthy. Maybe it could be 2 weeks. Why not have this memorable, magical experience? Now, the other reason why you want to have a suite is you get a butler. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a butler. I don't personally have a butler at home. I like to think that my kids are my butlers, but they actually create a bigger mess for me than a butler would do. But it is a butler's job is to basically be there and be at your beck and call and solve any of your vacation issues or dilemmas before you even think you had them. I have some experiences where I was walking out for dinner. I won't forget, this is just one of a number of stories. I'm walking out for dinner, and the butler sees my shoes, and he says, "Mr. Garcia, your shoes need shine." I said, "Yeah, Ayub, it's fine. I don't need them shine." He goes, No, real quick. Mind you, he's dressed in a full penguin tuxedo suit, okay? And he stops what he's doing, tells me to sit down, runs up, gets some gloves to protect his tuxedo, unlaces my shoes, shines them up, laces them back up, puts them on. He goes, "Now you're ready to go." That's just one experience. Another one was we were getting ready for dinner one night, and we were going to throw some darts. My wife and I, this was our engagement cruise. I proposed to her in Paris before getting on this trip, and we were going to throw some darts prior to our dinner reservation, and the butler asked me where I was headed. I said, "I'm heading up to dinner." He says, "Would you like some wine and cheese while you wait for your reservation?" And I was like, "Sure. I mean, who's going to say no to wine and cheese?" So sure enough, we're up on the deck throwing darts, and out comes our butler, penguin tux, tray, bottle of wine, beautiful collection of cheeses, crossing the pool deck, coming just for us, sets the tray down, serves us our glasses of wine, and we're like, it doesn't get any better than this. This is like true luxurious experience. And then there's just the comforts of even disembarking. I didn't have to carry my bags to get off the ship. He helped me with that, and we skipped the line. Not that there's really long lines, but we skipped whatever little line there was because we went down a back entrance because we were in a suite, and that's how he takes care of his guests. So I would say that those are just some of the little nuances. But yeah, there's other benefits. You know, we already are so inclusive, but with our suites, we include free Wi-Fi, we include bags of laundry, we include an afternoon tea service, specialty dining is included. And then in our top suites, there's additional onboard credits that are thrown in. So, I mean, I think I've given you a good taste as to why and why not. But, you know, it all just comes down to how you like to experience your vacation. And I think a suite is a fantastic way to experience that vacation.
Absolutely. And you know what? You have given me more than a taste. You have whetted my appetite. I'm ready to go. I know that there is a certain level of exclusivity, and I agree with you 100%. If you're going to go on an adventure, if you're going to go on an amazing experience, you're not going to want to shortchange any level of that from the time that you get on the plane to the time you board the ship. And absolutely, that opulence that you described with having the butler, having the additional amenities, the additional comfort, that expanded vista that you have with your suite is something that's just unparalleled. And I love how Azamara has been a great pioneer for that in the industry, ensuring that we have some of the best experiences that we can have at sea. And so right before we go, I do want to ask you a couple of questions. I know that I believe there's 3 different types of suites. Do you have a favorite club suite that you prefer in the Azamara brand?
So we have, I actually do. And it's, you know, it's funny because I did an event not long ago at a yacht club. So it's a different audience based on the demographics that we're talking about. These were more of a retired group, but they wanted to buy out the suites. So just so you know, we only have 44 suite accommodations on the entire vessel. There's not very many. And they asked me, what's my favorite? And so I mentioned to them my favorite. And my favorite is the Club Spa Suite. There are only 2 of these, and they live on deck number 9 forward. Now, what that means is that they are also the only 2 room accommodations on the entire floor on deck 9. They also share a private entrance with the spa. So this is a very exclusive, very unique, and also very special because they're the only 2 accommodations that have a hot tub that sits glass enclosed out on the veranda. Pretty, I call it the sexy room. Let's just be honest, that's what it is. It's the sexy room because there's nothing else on the ship that looks and feels like this. So I tell them this, and they, because they have more money than a lot of people, they just wanted the biggest and the most expensive. And that's what's interesting about my favorite. My favorite isn't the biggest or the most expensive, but by far it is the most exclusive, and that is our Club Spa Suite. And those are rooms 9,000 and 9,002. They are category S as in Sam for spa and P. So I love the SP or the Spa Suite. And I could assure you, Ryan, I think you would love it as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, I myself, whenever I decide to go on a cruise, I like to go for those spa suites primarily because they do have those added benefits, right? They give you that quick access to the spa. There's less noise, not to say that there would be a whole lot with Azamara, but you just get that general feeling of extra layer of comfort. And it's really all about the wellness aspect, right? And I don't want to shortchange myself on any of that. So thank you so much for sharing. This was amazing. And I've learned so much about the luxury brand with Azamara. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut to our last segment where we're going to be discussing destination immersion. And this is what Azamara does better than any other cruise brand that I have studied thus far, is the ability to really go in, embrace a destination, learn about the culture, learn about the food, learn about everything. And all of these are unparalleled experiences that you can only have with Azamara. So thank you so much, Lionel. I'm going to turn it back over to Tisha now so that we can get started.
Thank you.
The initial layers of a city, including its people, buildings and shops, can be seen by anyone, with each person having a similar view. But inspiration is found deeper. It's found by viewing things with fresh perspective, experiencing more dimension. It's about experiences that reveal unfamiliar scents, melodies unheard, textures untouched, and locals who soon become friends. Immerse yourself in the exploration of new cultures. Discover hidden gems, a deeper world within the world, while at the same time discovering more about yourself. With overnight stays and docking at smaller, less traveled ports, Azamara invites you to step ashore as an insider through a destination immersion experience. Explore further.
All right, everybody. So now that you know about immersion, and I'm sure you watched the video and was like, "Oh, I want to do that." I want to go ahead and ask a question, Mr. Lionel. I want to know, what is your favorite cruise experience on the ship?
So I will tell you that I have to think about it. I could talk about a few different ones, but I'm going to go with the trip I did in that suite that I was just referencing with Ryan. Was a trip to Greece and Israel. And one of my most favorite places that we stopped was Santorini. And the reason why it turned out to be so favorite, other than the fact that Santorini is gorgeous and a destination not to be missed and must be visited, was the fact that I have been to Santorini before with other brands. And here I was in Santorini with Azamara, and we were staying till 9 p.m. So one of the things that made that so special was I was able to not have to be rushed. So can I tell you what I did and why?
Sure.
Okay. So we ended up renting a ATV. We ended up renting an ATV and taking the ATV around Santorini. And for those of you who don't know Santorini sits atop a crater in the Aegean Sea. And this is the crater is called the Caldera, and you can't really stop in Santorini. You stop at the base of the crater, and then I either have to take a bus, a motor coach, a tram, donkey, or by foot up the donkey trail up to the top, where you can experience what is Santorini. Now Santorini has different areas, but we took the ATV around. We stopped at the black sand beaches. I think we went diving off cliffs. Then we took it and found I think 1,000-plus-year-old winery that was in a cave, ran by the same family for all these years, and had a wine tasting experience, which I don't then recommend getting back on the ATV, but that's what we did. Then we got up to Fira. Fira is the kind of the mecca, if you see the pictures of Greece or of Santorini, it's that whitewashed walls, the blue domes, the expansive views. That's what you see in Ia and Fira. And so we did a tour of that. We did some shopping. This is all on our own because we had time. There was no rush. So around 4:30, 5 o'clock, we drive back to the center of town. But so was everyone else, because guess what? The ships were all leaving at 4:35, 5:36, but not Azamara. So while everyone was leaving and vacating the island or the destination, my wife Christy and myself, we found a little taverna that overlooks the Caldera, the beautiful body of water where all the ships are tendered. And we watched one by one them sailing away. And guess what happens next? The sun begins to set. Wow. And it's almost like God painted this beautiful sunset just for us, because you know what? In front of me, there was no one else. It was just my table with the two of us watching this gorgeous sunset. And then we finished our, I guess, let's call it a pre-dinner, right? Because I have to admit, I ate dinner again on the ship. I mean, for me, working on the cruise line especially, it's called research and development. I have to know what the food tastes like. So we ate a little bit there, and then we were able to take the tram down, and we were the only ones on the train. There was no one else. And then we took the tender back to the vessel, and there was no rush. It was so easy. It was so fun. And so for me, Greece is my favorite country. I think the people of Greece are like no one else in the Mediterranean or in Europe, in my opinion. I'm not Greek. You might think I look Greek because of my nose, but I'm Greek. My family's Cuban, but I fell in love with the Greek people. They really treat us well. I think the food in Greece is to die for. And as far as getting your biggest bang for your dollar, I found that to happen in Greece as well. So that was my favorite. But there's a number of gorgeous destinations, and there's still so many more to see. So I mean, I've been to over 60 countries, but there's still more places on my list, and I can't wait to see them.
Well, I can tell you now that me and Ryan have been going back and forth, and we are between Rio, somewhere in Europe, or Asia. So based off immersions, which one of those three is going to win where we're going to go?
You know what? I think it's going to break down to how much time you have. That's just my personal opinion. Because in Rio, even though it's not going to take you very long to get down to South America, and by the way, your time zone is going to be very comparable to where you are. I know you guys are in Central, but I'm out here in the East. It's very comparable. The itineraries that we have down there are going to be of 10 nights or longer. So although what I love about the one in Rio, I don't know if you know this, but we are in Rio for two very special celebrations. One is Carnival, which is not to be missed. It's a phenomenal festival, and we are there for 3 days. 3 nights, 4 days. So you can really live it and experience it, and like forget that you're even on a cruise. Maybe you don't even come back to the ship until the ship is supposed to sail away. That's on you, right? So that's awesome. However, that trip is 12 nights. So maybe you don't have 12 nights. So that might eliminate that. I also have another celebration we do in Rio, and that's New Year's Eve. The countdown to the new year, there's a phenomenal celebration that takes place in Copacabana Beach. And we actually tender the ship right off the coast of the beach, and you essentially have front row seats to the fireworks show that this beach does every year. It's really the premier location in South America for New Year's Eve. And you can be there celebrating in the comfort of the ship, but feeling like you're right there. So that's my 2 cents on that, and why, if you don't have the time, those might not work. Asia, listen, I just did Myanmar and Thailand the last time we were able to travel. Okay, it was the end of 2019, and it was awesome. But I was gone for 19 days. So the cruise itself was 14, but then you got travel days, and you're not going to fly all the way to Singapore and not see Singapore. So, you know, we flew to Singapore. That took about a day and a half. And then I spent about 2 days in Singapore. I stayed at the Mandalay, and the Marina Bay Sands, the beautiful hotel that has the pool up on the rooftop. Not to be missed. Again, talk about opulence and luxury, but this is a once in a lifetime trip. When's the next time I'm going to Singapore, right? So make it count. But well worth doing that. The food there, the culture there, the destinations. Oh my gosh, that was, I learned so much. I love learning of different religions and experiences, and that's something you can really dive into in Asia. Now, the one that I would recommend if you're more limited on time is going to be Europe, because in Europe, many of the destinations are very close together. So we have itineraries ranging anywhere between 5 to 14 nights, but a lot of 7 and 10 night voyages live in that space. And there's also a lot of countries within Europe. So you could do these country intensives, or you could do one of our Mediterranean mosaics where you can really get a kaleidoscope of different countries under your belt on one itinerary. So it really depends on what you're looking for, but maybe you like races. There's the Monaco Grand Prix and the Cannes Film Festival. Well, guess what? We're in France during this, and we're overnighting, so you can experience it. You could rub elbows with the movie stars at the film festival, and then you could watch the race in Monaco. So it's really a unique experience that you can have, and those itineraries are 5 and 6 nights. The longest one we have that does that is 10 nights. So, and then if you want to do Greece, which is the one I would recommend, just because, again, I love Greece, and it is in Europe, you can do a 7-night Greek intensive and really every night wake up on a new island, experiencing Greece and the food and the people and the culture. And there's just so much history in Greece. So much of our world and our experiences out here in the West are thanks to things that happened back in the day in Greece and in the old Europe. So I don't know. I hope maybe I gave you some guidance, and maybe I didn't answer anything, but or maybe I made it harder for you. But those are my comments and feedback on those destinations.
Well, I don't know about you, Ryan, but I think we're going to be gone for 2 months. And
at
luckily,
minimum,
yeah, so, you know,
so
laptop, Wi-Fi, you know, work during the day, party at night.
Sounds like a plan to me. And can't forget the white night party. Can't forget that.
Oh yeah, got to do the white night party several times, different white dress for each one. I got to have a different one.
I would tell you, I think you guys are onto something. Listen, after what we've been experiencing, we're all working remote now. Many of us are working remote now. I think it's become the way to do business now. So it's very possible that you can live out that experience if that's what you're hoping to do. So that's exciting.
Yes, we can work from home and our background won't be virtual. It'll be, no, that's really the ocean back there.
It'll be real.
Like, look, hear it. You hear it? So we have one more subject. Ryan has one more go around, and we want to talk about groups, mainly because we both like groups, and who doesn't like to travel with a group? So I'm going to go ahead and bow out, and I'm going to let Ryan take over.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, she said it like essentially what it was, is that groups are amazing, and it's always fun to travel with friends. It's always it's always fun to travel with family, and even with your own select group of people, maybe people that you know. I just love the ability to be with everybody and be able to experience that same type of immersion, you know? So Lionel, I know personally, whenever I'm working with my clients, I'm always advising them, the sooner you know that you're ready to go and you have a bunch of people that want to go with you, that's the time that you will want to book. But some people would like something a little bit more tangible, so to speak. So in your opinion, how early should someone look to start planning a group to go on a cruise with Azamara?
You know, Ryan, as a salesperson, I should be saying, you know, there's a way to talk, but I don't like being very pushy. So I'm just going to go out there and say the truth. We're published right now through April of 2023. There are people today taking out space for spring of 2023. They're heading to South America and planning their trip around the Horn, or they're planning their Carnival in Rio, or they're planning their Caribbean, or they're already planning it. And the benefit of doing so is you lock in the space, you lock in a price, which, by the way, most cruise lines, including Azamara, we honor the lowest rate up to final payment. So even though you start planning now for 2023, your investment is still protected, and you're going to get the best price up until 120 days before the cruise. So they can start planning now. They can start making payments. They can work with you and Tisha to make investment, small installment payments. So you can break up this dream vacation, if you will, into a small, very palatable bites of investment, so that you could end up having this great trip. But I wouldn't look to plan a group anything closer than 6 months out, just because once you hit that 6 month mark, there's probably not that much space left on the voyage. Your group or your clients, your friends, the people who are looking to travel, they're going to be unsatisfied with the space that they can get. You may not have the choice of room or the location that you want or the size of room that you want. So I always say, I think the sweet spot really is somewhere between 8 and 16 months, but it could be longer. It just depends on how far out they're looking to plan. And just one of the things I will just assure you and your people watching this is, that's why they use you and they use Tisha is to help navigate these things. And I think that they get to make a small investment. The initial deposit for a group for Azamara is $50 per person. So that's not a whole lot of money, right? You put a $50 per person investment, you lock in the price, you lock in the space, and then you know that you don't have to make actually another payment until 150 days before the trip. So between the day that you book the group and 150 days to the trip, you can make little payments here and there, or pay nothing until 150 days. At the 150-day mark, the full deposit is due. That's $1,100 for the room, $550 per person. And then at the 120-day mark, sometimes 90-day mark, final payment is then due. So I think that time-wise, it's really whenever they're ready and whenever your clients are comfortable to do it. But obviously, there is an element of fun and excitement and anticipation when you can plan early enough and get people excited to want to come with you, because that's what makes traveling fun. And I'm going to mention one other thing, Ryan, that no one's talked about yet because it's not out. But the future of post-COVID travel is going to separate people in their traveling party. It's kind of like their bubble. So groups are going to be very important, because if your traveling party is just me and you, it's not as much fun as if our traveling party is 10 people.
Right. Right.
And so if you're looking to have a good time, I would highly recommend trying to gather some friends, gather interest, and I'm positive that if you wanted to go somewhere, somebody else you know probably want to go there too, and they would probably really enjoy going there with you.
Exactly. And you know what I really love about specifically with groups is that it's just like you said, you have the flexibility to really be able to make payments. Once you fulfill that first initial deposit, the longer there's a distance between the final payment and when you put down that first deposit, that's how much time you're working with to actually prepare and start dreaming for that dream, Italy excursion, that dream Greece excursion, that dream Myanmar and Singapore. I mean, you hit so many different places on my list that I really can't wait. So that means that it would be perfect for people that kind of want to do something like, maybe they all want to go to, they want to do a family reunion somewhere nice. And for those first time travelers that really want to see it, that's a great way to give people time and energy to really prepare. So I love that. And then, Lionel, there was a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about. I'm only going to touch on one more, but we've already talked about it. For those of us that don't know, we've already talked about how great it is to book with an agent. And I'm sure that you can attest to how many different moving parts there are working with cruises and making sure that all of the components fit together and work together to deliver this amazing experience. So what would you say are some of the key advantages to working with an agent to help you put this together when you're doing a group versus having someone just try to do it by themselves?
Sure. I think the biggest reason is that using an agent, your clients have an advocate. So using somebody like you, Ryan, or using you, Ryan, and Tisha, and using the Platinum Life Travels group and others you are the advocate of the consumer. And let's just be real. Look, I represent Azamara, right? I don't represent you in the travel agency group. I represent Azamara as in the big brand. But if your clients called us, we're only going to offer Azamara. And if something goes bump in the night, they have to call us and work with us. And there's no one really to advocate for them, right? And what if, let's be honest, we should be treating everyone the same. But the reality is we know, and if you sell more, if you travel more, you have more loyalty, you get extra perks. I'm a Diamond member with Hilton. I could cancel the day of my stay and they'll refund my cancellation penalty. But if you've never stayed with Hilton and you try to cancel the day of the reservation, guess what? Hilton's going to tell you, good luck. Thank you for your money. Mm-hmm. So the beauty about having a travel professional is that they have your back. So what happens? Let's say something goes bump in the night and your client has something bad happens that prevents them from getting to the ship, or they need your help, or they need to cancel, or just change of plans. If they have to call Azamara directly, chances are they're not going to get the same results as if you call. And what you would do is you would end up calling the center. If you don't get the help, you would call me. And then I have connections and resources and ability to get things done that maybe others can't do. And I want to share with you a story, has to do with my mom. I know we're running long here, but I think it brings home the point that I'm trying to make instead of just using assumptions. This is a true story. My mom, I've been with the company 19 years. My mom booked a cruise directly with our sister brand, Royal Caribbean, and was booked a 3-night cruise to the Bahamas. And I gave her grief about not using me. And she said, well, Lionel, it was so cheap. She goes, it was $139 a person. I figured I wouldn't want to bother you. I said, okay, Mom, no problem. Well, I know you don't know this, but I live in South Florida. So my mom, and so does my mom, and she could drive to the port. Well, in very typical Cuban or Latin fashion, my mom is late. I mean, we're typically late. And so what happened? She calls Royal Caribbean and says, hey, there's a huge thunderstorm on I-95 and there's traffic and weather, and I'm not going to make the ship. And Royal Caribbean said, oh, that's such a shame. Well, safe travels. Well, are you going to tell the ship to wait for me? No, I'm sorry, Miss Rubio. You could just go home. Oh, but okay, fine. I'll take my refund. Refund? Did you take insurance? Nope, didn't take insurance. Sorry. Guess who my mom calls?
She called you.
She goes, Lionel, help me. They're not taking care of me. This is crazy. I'm missing the ship. I'm here on I-95. What can you do for me? I'm like, Mom, this is why you use a travel professional, because they're going to have your back. So now, Mom, I'm going to do for you what I would do for one of my travel agents if they had a customer like you in the same scenario. And guess what they did? Royal Caribbean went ahead and protected her penalties and her cruise, what she paid that Friday for that cruise, and moved it to the following week's cruise. She only paid the difference of a few dollars for what the difference was, and she didn't lose her money, and she got to still go on her vacation. Yes, granted, a week later, but she still got to go on her vacation. And she was like, how do you do that? I'm like, Mom, this is what we do for our customers. This is what it represents, to have relationships and to have connections and have someone who has your back versus working directly. So that's just one very small example, but real example of the value that you bring. And the other part I mentioned earlier is that they come to you with their time and their money. Your customers come to you with time and money, their most valuable resources and their dream. And then you go out and you curate through all of your experiences and all of your connections and find truly that best vacation for them. And you go out of your way to find that best vacation because you want them to come back to you again and use you again for that next vacation. And I think that that's the beautiful part also about using a travel professional versus using a cruise line directly, because that cruise line can only offer you whatever they offer. That a travel professional can offer a collection of different things that are really what might be the best for you and your travel dollars and your travel time.
You know what? You hit on two really important points, I think, when you describe that story. Number one, we're value interpreters because we go out of our way to find that perfect vacation. No one wants to be sold something that everybody else is getting. Some people want to be catered to, you know, and Azamara does a great job making sure that they cater to all of their guests, right? But also, in addition to that, you need an advocate. And in today's world, do you really want to be that person that's spending 45 minutes to 2 hours on the phone to get one question? Or do you want to call that travel advisor that already knows the information or is willing to sit on the phone in your stead, essentially holding your place in queue, getting you what you're looking for, or getting you a resource that you may not be able to access? And that's really so important. So imagine if you're doing a group, please make sure that you do decide to book it with a travel advisor, primarily because that's what we're here to do. We're here to be your advocate. We're here to help you work through all of the different components. And we're here to help you ensure that you, your family, your friends, your loved ones have that designed, catered experience. But this was great. I mean, I love all that I've learned tonight and everything. I'm sure my clients are going to enjoy this as well. And I mean, Tisha said that we needed to do a 2-month sailing. And you also mentioned that there were some promotions that you were hinting at about what we could be looking forward to, seeing as how sailings are out to April 2023. Why don't we go on ahead and start looking at some of those offers so that we can start planning our dream Azamara experience?
Will do, for sure. So you guys want me to talk about that now? I just don't want to jump into it yet. Tisha, you're on mute. I feel like that's the hashtag.
No, I'm on mute. See, I muted myself earlier because some of the stuff you were saying, I was like, oh, wait, they can hear me. Let me mute myself real quick because I was getting excited. But yes, I love sales. I love promotions. We're in the Wave program, and everyone knows, you know, it's great to get a great price and it's great to get a great value, but it's also even better to get a great price with a great value. So on all of the views that we're watching this on, they do have all of the links that you did provided us earlier for the Wave promotions and all the different sailings and everything. So we just wanted you to touch on some of the promotions that are happening right now that our clients could jump on as we close out the presentation.
Perfect. So right now, through the end of March, so that gives plenty of time to think about it and strategize what you want to do. We are currently offering up to 40% off, which is one of our richest discounts that we do, with free Wi-Fi in our accommodations that are ocean view or better. And this is going to include voyages that are departing between May of this year through March of 2022. So that is what we currently have open. Now, I know that a few of us out here are you know, people watching are in the United States. Some might even be out in Florida on the East Coast. So I just want to mention we don't have this in our brochure right now, but there are 3 Caribbean itineraries. I know it's not as sexy as going off to Europe and heading away, but we are offering 3 Caribbean itineraries from Miami in November, a Thanksgiving cruise, November 26th of this year. And we're also visiting then December 10th and then December 20, I think it's December 23rd. And what I like about these itineraries, one of my favorite features about these itineraries is that we have a stop in Labadee. Labadee is Royal Caribbean's private island. Now, this private island is awesome for Royal Caribbean. I know many of you have probably been on it, but you've never been on it with just 700 guests. And you've never been on it when Azamara is the only ship in port. So it's really unique experience where essentially the island opens up its private beach area that's typically reserved for suites and opens it just for Azamara, because the ship is small enough that we can all play on this beach. So it is really special, and we have some really beautiful stops. So check out those itineraries too. They're part of the up to 40% off and free Wi-Fi. And that promo again is going to run until the end of March. And then as far as groups are concerned, we're currently offering a promotion till the end of February where we're offering a 1 for 12 TC. So for those of you listening at home and you don't know what a TC is, call Tisha, call Ryan, they'll talk to you. It's a tour conductor, but it's a 1 for 12. We're also offering no deposits for 90 days. So you can actually book the space and not have to pay 1 cent for 3 months. And we're also offering double gap. And I know gap may be a term that, again, your listeners don't know what it is, but I know Ryan and Tisha, you guys do. But double gap is tremendous to help motivate you and motivate your friends to want to travel with you. So make sure you ask Tisha and ask Ryan about the double gap and about the reduced TC and the benefits that come to you. But that promo is for groups traveling through March of 2022. So those are our deals. That's what I have for you guys.
Well, I think those are amazing. What do you think, Ryan?
I think I should probably make a few calls because I'm hearing Caribbean in November and it's been cold. So I'm thinking we might need to jump on that.
Well, you know what I see? I think that the Caribbean cruises coming out of Miami will be a good introductory for Azamara leading into the longer ones. Because once people get comfortable with a cruise line and comfortable with the rooms, because I'm not going to lie, when I was reviewing the videos, there was that one video when they kept showing the room and I was like, that's my room. Like, I want that room. Like, I want that sink and that view. I was like, yeah, I want that. And I think
that's the spa suite, by the way.
So that's my room. So you can't have it.
Well, 2, so we could both have one.
Well, yeah, we could do that. We'd be in the spa suite and put everybody else everywhere else, and then let them come visit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But
the upgrade for the next one. That's what we'll do. Yeah, but I like the idea of first doing a Caribbean cruise and then upgrading everyone to something longer. Because if you've never sailed on a cruise line before, that's generally your biggest concern. Like, what does the ship look like? What does the room look like? What does the food look like? Everyone's comfortable going to the Caribbean no matter what cruise line it is. So I think that's something we should talk about offline, Ryan, for December.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, everybody, we have been here longer than we thought, but we had so much fun. We had to keep going. Thank you for everybody that stayed on this entire time, watched with us, commented, shared it out and everything, and look forward to see what me and Ryan will do next month. That's going to be it, everybody. This ends our presentation.